What's going on, sales mercs? Welcome to Unbreakable Secrets, the fastest sales training masterclass ever. Look, it is Good Friday. Most people already calling off on like Wednesday. They're already clocking off. They're excited for the weekend. So they're not putting the the right effort, right? So yesterday, I think I worked like 3 overtime hours, and we were like, I hate working on a Thursday night. I was like, oh, dude. But I said, you know what? I did my run, and I said, look, hey, I gotta treat each color, right, for my investor, like who's going to invest on my future, right? So I had a call today. He's like, English. It's like, what do you mean? what are you talking about? I speak 3 languages, right? And this dude asked like someone to speak like English. I was like, what do you mean? I ended up transferring the call, and I was like, look, in this business, you're gonna encounter all these things. Like, I bought a new car, truck, so I got to do some setup, and the rep was actually, it looks like sound like he was an Indian, right? But since I've been in the customer service for such a long time, I treat each of one of them with respect, because I do exactly as they do, right? So I can be like, oh my God, So, and some of them, they have a very thick accent, right? So, and the same with the restaurants. I used to wait tables. I used to work. I did so many jobs. I respect each of, like a construction worker. You got to start. People even who clean the bathrooms, right? Because I did clean the bathrooms for a living. So when I see someone that is cleaning the bathrooms, I treat with respect. Every time I make sure when I go to the bathroom in a public area, I make sure everything is clean. I try to, because it's not my house, because I understand the skill set. So I talked to this lady and said, well, I can call you tomorrow. Oh, no, it's the weekend. The biggest money people can make is in the weekend, right? So I'm going to work tomorrow for 4 hours, because I know that there's, a bunch of, you got to love what you do. It's like, man, like retirement. I was reading some blog the other day, and this lady is like 59 years old. She's like, I'm not ready to retire. I'm just getting started. I'm 52 years old. I'm just getting started. Retire. And people, I had disability. What's going on in this country, brothers? That's why I love sales, because I used to work for companies like, you can do the triple of the work, but you got the same pay rate, right? So I was like, no. So that's why I was studying salesman a few years ago. A long time ago. And I said, man, are you mean to tell me so the harder I work, I get to keep the whole thing? I don't have to worry about John not bringing his tools, or, Chris not showing up to work. So sales, it is, I tell them, I've been trying to tell my daughters, if you guys want to make money, you got to go in some sort of sales. I follow this chick on Instagram, right? And she was her name is Shelby Sapp, right? Phenomenal, right? She used to sell a pest control, door to door. If you want to succeed in any business, you got to go. I've been door to door salesman, man. Dude, I loved it. People are like, oh my God, dude. There's the only way you want to succeed in this business is to do things that most people are not willing to do. And the reason you see all this laid off in bigger companies, that they send you an email, because the people who got, you got to offer every single day. If you're not increasing your skill set, you're gonna be dead on the water. Nobody can replace me, dude. They're just sending an email. I don't know, 3,000 people from Oracle and from Meta. They were like, see, brother, because I can have the software that it is going to, or it is already. I don't need a human being to do what they do. So they're paying trillions of dollars for a human go to the coffee shop, or I'm just gonna make some copies at the office. There's no reason for that, right? So that's why constantly when my wife asks me, "What are you doing?" I'm training. I gotta keep moving, man. And then people when they start crying because they lost their job and they don't know what to do. Well, because let me tell you, what's his name? His name was, he passed away a long time. I don't really remember when he passed. Jack Welch. Jack Welch was the CEO of a GE, General Electric, right? When he took possession of GE, and by the way, this is a masterclass on sales, I'm telling you. So when he took possession of the company, and he worked for the company before becoming CEO. I think he worked 20 years from GE, right? And when he became the CEO of the company, everybody was, oh my God, you just, adopted this company, it can run by itself. But when nobody knew that Jack Welch was going to each department before he became a CEO, when he was a manager, he was actually talking to people on the floors, and they have they sold a bunch of subsidiaries from GE that they have. They sold that but anyway, so he was interviewing each of one of the managers and talking to supervisors and asking them, what exactly do you do? Right? And he was going from top to bottom. I don't know how many employees that he talked to, but when he became CEO, he did a board meeting, and he started firing people. It's like, hey, John, you're fired, get the fuck out. Because nobody knew what these guys were doing, right? Even Gordon Gekko in the movie, Wall Street, right? When he goes to this, the meeting of the investors, right? And they're seeing all this presidents sitting in the back. Say, yeah, I know you guys, the president, they just got a raise of, $20 million in corporate jets. What are we paying these people for? What in the fuck these guys are doing? So the new AI, the new things that you're seeing in every company, if you haven't owned any business, you don't know what, because you think, everything costs money. The desk costs money, the lease costs money, the electricity, the computers, the internet. People don't see the expenses behind any business. They think they just run by itself and then autopilot, and these guys, no. And you'll see within the next 5 years, it's going to be a massive, and I'm talking about massive, the companies there saying, okay, what are we doing? Can we use it, replace it, or get rid of it? How can we make more money with less people? Because we already proved to these people that, people are worthless, right? They don't show up to work, they only work, whatever. They don't offer nothing to the marketplace. That's why they're getting replaced, right? So Steve Jobs used to say to Kevin O'Leary, he used to call him noise to, what's it called? There's a specific term that he was talking about. Noise to something. He used to come and say, we have this task. So you have 18 hours to complete this task. You got to drop anything. There's no emails. I don't care what you need to do for the next 18 hours, but this task needs to be completed. There's no email to your suppliers. This needs to be done. It has to be done in 18 hours. And, AI now can send emails to thousands of people to say, hey, this is the project. And AI can analyze shit, and they can tell your production, say, oh, shit, well, yeah, we know this dude didn't do nothing. He didn't log in. We told him to write at least something. AI can actually analyze a bunch of data and tell you exactly how many calls you make, how many actually talk to people, how many people did you actually talk to, how many actually sales did you close, because they're going to start putting some numbers. I have numbers that I got to put in, or the same thing. So I got to be more productive every single time, right? So when and the only guy that does just 24/7 is Elon Musk. Elon Musk, the value of the Tesla is going down, right? Regardless of whatever, I think those trucks are hideous. If you own a company, they're perfect for to show up, right? For catering companies, or you want to show up the car, you wrap it up and just deduct it as a business expense. But as your typical car, I mean, it was like, there's no way. Now he's going to SpaceX, right? They want to make public SpaceX. So everybody's like, since right now we have the people going to the moon in the Artemis, and you know these guys are heading to the moon. They're like, okay, so you know these guys they gotta make the marketplace, and it's a company, right? Now if you're not happy with this, then you start your own company, right? So that's why I always tell people like, oh my God, the president is, and they complain to every president, right? But I mean, if you want to just, then why don't you become president? And then you run for, yeah, it's gonna, a whole bunch of excuses. That's in sales, you know. When we talk to people and we ask for the, you know, assume the close, and they're like, well, I mean, and then it's just like, well, there's different matter. So productivity, skill set, and just, if you are not, like seriously, like I've been remote for 2 years, and the great thing about being remote is I don't have to spend on the car like hours. You know, I used to, you know, when I went to pick up the truck, I had to drive like 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours I sat in the fucking car. But guess what? You know what I did? I was listening to audiobooks for 2.5 hours in, and the rest I was just meditating. I was just like, you know, using my time efficient. I said, there's no way that I'm going to be driving 5 hours, and those 5 hours are going to go to waste. I used every single hour in that day because so that's exactly what happened in you know, all these guys, you know, I see this, you know, these guys coming like up and down, and where are you going? See, if I don't have a reasonable thing that I need to drive my car sits on the driveway. Oh, I gotta pick up the kids. I gotta go, dude, you know, I'm building the legacy. And I don't have time. Like this weekend, we gotta go to the fucking you know, Easter dinner to some folks, and they're cooking things that I don't even eat. So I was like, oh, you know, just like we're just gonna for a little bit, because I have you know, these guys that went to the moon. They just, well, you know, sorry, just you know, this weekend is Eastern weekend. You know, I gotta spend time. And these guys were like, dude, it's my opportunity to go to the moon. Dude, I gotta do my shit. So we put priorities where it doesn't need to be put in. We put in excuses. We do all the things that, like me, going in the change the bed, right? Right now in the middle of a Friday, because I know that if I don't go and make my calls today on Friday, someone else is going to take their money. It's going to be Amazon. It's going to be Louis Vuitton, whatever, or Michael Kors. You know, people are going to go spend this weekend. You know, you see the commercials, you know, hey, you know, Easter sale, you know, get your couch, get your TV, right? So they're like, you know, it's attention. Hey, you know, they want to take, you know. So I like to make my calls because I got to buy my condos, my units. So I got to make money. I got to be more effective every single minute. You know, actually, I didn't realize almost it was going to be my hour lunch. I'd be like doing my exercise, my training, and I'm listening to my audiobooks, and I got to go. So go help somebody that can never repay you. Subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe to the channel. I'm telling you, man, this you're not going to get this so much value. Increase your skill set, and please, if you have the ability to learn another fucking language, learn another fucking language, right? I'm studying a lot of languages. In 5 years, I'll dominate 3 languages more. Can I speak someone in English? Excuse me? What do you mean? In English? I speak English. Ooh, you don't like that? You don't like that? I don't care. Anyway, let's go. Subscribe to the channel. Have a good weekend, and go put some work in. Go put some hours, you know, so you can have. Because if you don't work, you don't get this.